Yeah, hello. In this video, uh, I want to explain a maturity model for Scrum implementation. So now what's happening is uh, everybody wants to get into Scrum and people get trained. Some of them, majority gets trained and some doesn't get formally trained, and they make they try to implement Scrum for a while, and after that, we get into some sort of implementation of Scrum, but we never get the best benefits forecasted by Scrum because we don't mature to that level. So before that itself, we stabilize at an intermediate stage, but still it is better than nothing. So people get satisfied with some sort of benefits, but not the peak benefits of or the fullest benefits of Scrum. It is more like buying a DSLR camera and then keeping on shooting on auto mode, which is terrible underutilization of the framework. So based on my consulting practice, generally when I get an organization, so they primarily operate at this level. Either everything is ad hoc, if it's a startup, everything is ad hoc. They don't have systems in place. So that is an issue. Or if it is a very large organization, by and large they may be a CMM level 5, level 3, level 4, or an ISO kind of an organization where everything is very bureaucratic, everything is process driven. So in my agility model, I put them as they fit into the level 0. Then we train them because Scrum, since it is based on, it's a value-based system. It is more like religion as well because both are value-based. So it takes a lot of time to mature. So it is not a rule-based thing. It is a value-based thing. So people get trained and they kind of start implementing Scrum or start practicing Scrum. So they may have a planning meeting where the manager will just say, these are the things I want. Estimations may not happen. Playing poker will not happen. User stories will not be there. It is just the senior-most person in the team telling others that this is what we will do in the next 30 days' time or the next sprint. The discussions never happen. So some agile so I call it as level 1 on the agility scale, where some agile management practices are implemented. Then what will happen is, they will get into issues like uneven pressure and the pressure towards the end of the sprint peaks. Whereas the early days of the sprint, things are cool. The product quality becomes an issue. And because of all these things, sometimes the attrition levels also can be very high because the key guys will leave because unnecessarily too much pressure is mounted onto them. And the code quality also can come down because we have not implemented the right practices, the right engineering practice. Then the next level is, take them to the level 2 where the agile management practices are fully implemented. That means we have everybody is formally trained, including the product owner, Scrum Master, and the team members, and we have a product backlog, we have sprint backlogs, we have user stories developed, and we have acceptance tests written up front. We estimate the stories based on Fibonacci series, the story points, and then we have proper planning meetings, and we calculate velocities, and the capability and the amount of work we commit is always based on the velocity of the last sprint. Work volunteering happens. So it is a right implementation of Scrum, which takes a while. Movement from level 0 to level 2 takes a while. Now, since Scrum is more of management practices, still sometimes the code quality could be low. When it's time to ship the product, again issues can crop up. There is a time when we should leverage on the engineering practices of other models like extreme programming, which is rich in the engineering practices of pair programming, code refactoring, daily builds, test automation. So there's a time when we should focus on this level 3. Now a question can be asked by the engineers where, see, my friends in Waterfall is really happy. They are not under tremendous pressure, whereas in a Scrum project, every sprint I'm under pressure. So what are the advantages? Now, sometimes the HR practices, so definitely the HR practices must complement the Scrum values. Now let's say I'm a programmer who always volunteer for complex piece of code, and sometimes I fail. Will the organization reward me, or will the organization punish me for it? So Scrum is all about risk-taking. So we need some tweaking of the HR practices. And again, there is no work allocation here. It is work volunteering. Now, who will do the performance appraisal? Most probably, a 360-degree appraisal is the right solution. So we need the HR practices to be optimized. So again, start over again. So it is a long drawn process. So it's not that you take a team, train them on Scrum, and the next day onwards, Scrum gets fully implemented. No way. So since Scrum is a value-based thing, it takes continuous nurturing for a while to have its roots, and then still to reinforcing it further, we need to borrow from the rich engineering practices from other models, and a continuous nurturing and the organization commitment is required. So very often people give up at this level and say this is what we are going to follow, which is nothing but a waterfall. So they take they have a requirement phase, they have a design phase, they have a coding phase. That is still waterfall. So in Scrum, everything happens together within every sprint. Another stuff is, okay, now when you some organizations I see, Scrum talks about just a single team concept, but in some organization or many of the organization I see something like definition of done is development done, and then is waiting for testing. Then the testers take over from there. So basically, again, we are dividing the team into development team and testing team, which is not there in Scrum. It is just one single team concept where testers and developers must work together and deliver something valuable to the customer. So a definition of a project like this, like development done and ready for testing, and then testing done, then what is the confidence level of the definition of done, and where do you get the benefits? So it's a long drawn-out process, and based on our consulting experience in at least 4 or 5 organizations spanning around 20 teams, we have crystallized this model, Scrum maturity model, because it needs continuous nurturing to push the maturity across these levels. and we need organization commitment as well. So that is the idea. So your feedback, comments are always welcome to improve this further. So thank you very much.